My name is Randall Queen and I'm a golfer. And I'm really not going to be a content creator for YouTube. That's not my intent for this. I recently had distal bicep surgery, and so I had a fairly good swing going on, but I'm going to have to go back now that I have a new attachment point in my arm and kind of relearn my swing. So I thought, well, why not do some videotape work and post it online for anybody who might be interested, because I have a feeling there's a lot of people out there who feel like they have a pretty good swing, but they may not understand completely their ball flight or some of the issues that they're having. And so I've decided I want to cover a lot of that. If I asked most of my friends, which would you prefer? Would you rather hit longer or hit more consistent? They struggle to come up with an answer, but generally speaking, depending on the day, really. Some might want to say distance right away, and then they're like, but I really would like more consistency. So then I throw a third option in, and I throw this one in. I'm like, what if instead of just consistency or long distance, you could know what you did wrong on every shot? And they all jump at that. They would prefer to know, what did I just do wrong? Because they don't want to start falling apart and then all of a sudden going from a good round to a bad round without understanding what caused it. And so really that's what I want to kind of address is, how can we set up ourselves so that we can understand why our rounds go wrong, how to get them quicker back on track, kind of like having a go-to swing, kind of like having a fairway finder. Those are big things for me. A lot of times when you have a decent swing and you go online, they're like, oh, you're kind of slicing the ball. And then they treat you like a slicer. No, I'm not a slicer. I just happened today to start slicing the ball a little bit more than usual. I'm just trying to find the fix for that. So it's not going to be a grip change. Your grip is fine, in other words. So we got to find out, well, what else can we look at besides all of a sudden just relabeling you as a golfer. So I do want to start covering a lot of that. But we got to start small, because it's so much easier to teach you on small things, so that when we get our swings bigger and faster and broader, it's going to be easier to understand. I also want to talk about kind of like the practice environments you should be working with or inside of, so that you really practice smartly. Don't go to the range, don't put down the bucket of balls and just start slamming balls and expecting a different result. We can do better than that. I'll talk real quick a little bit about my background. I was a golfer. I took it up when I was fairly old. I'm 62 now, but at that point, this was like 3 years ago, I decided, I played golf when I was a kid. I really never took score. I had a slice back then. I was your average kind of weekend hacker golfer. And then all of a sudden, 3 years ago, I started really trying to understand the fundamentals of golf. Watched a lot of YouTube videos. I did take some lessons from 6 different individuals. Sometimes, on occasion, I went back and took a second lesson from them. Most of the time I did not. But I had my personal reasons for that. A lot of times I was hitting well and they tuned me in, and then months later, all of a sudden I felt like I was kind of losing it again and falling apart. And then the last thing is, I'm not going to try to entertain you. I'm pretty well when it comes to talking about things that I'm passionate about. I have a feeling I talk too much, because I've been told that. I get a little heated at times. I'm blunt and I'm honest. But I'm not going to BS anybody here. I'm not going to try to do fancy thumbnails, and I'm not going to have fancy screenshots and do all this stuff. I'm just going to tell you the information you need to know. So what I've decided to do, I have the course kind of like all set up of what my intentions are every single video. So let's take an example. I'm going to go straight to the drill. Once you see the drill, then if you want the explanation of what the drill is going to do for you, then you can continue to watch the video. Also during that time, I'm going to discuss, if you do this drill, how to properly do it, and if you start seeing that you're struggling with the drill, where are the errors and where are your issues? And I'm going to start solving those for you. because we're going back to the concept of what is my ball flight? What is my body mechanics? How come some days I hit the ball well, other days I kind of fall apart? So I'm going to teach you how to warm up. We're going to briefly cover the grip. But if you ever want to compress the ball, really compress it, we have to talk about grip. Otherwise, I wouldn't talk about it. But if that's some of your expectations, we need to talk about it. Then we're going to talk about contact issues, half swings. After the half swings, we're going to jump over to wedges, because those two things kind of stay in line with each other. Then we'll go over to the irons and we'll talk about full swings, maybe a little shaping of the ball, but I'm really not going to get into that. I'm a straight ball hitter. I hit a long straight ball. If you talk to any of my friends I play golf with, they're going to say two things. This guy can nail his irons, and then he's got this soft touch around the greens, and he puts on fire. So this is what I want to try to convey, that even for a guy who's only played for 3 years, this is all possible. So we'll go through irons, we'll go through putting, we'll talk about sand traps to a limited degree. I'm not going to really hit sand traps very much. Then we'll talk about course management, and then we'll end with your woods, your hybrids, and your drivers. Once we talk about course management, then let's talk about the longer clubs. The one thing I'm not going to do, which I was so tempted to do, I'm not going to lie, because it's just in my nature. I was going to use part of the video after the drills to kind of rant on some of the things I see online, and I decided that's too easy. There's too many things being said, and I could be lumped into the same category. So it's easy to put people down to elevate yourself, and I don't want to do that. So I've decided at the very end of the video, if you watch it all the way through on whatever particular thing you're interested in, it's going to talk about the kudos. These people, and I'll give a couple of examples of links to good videos where I really think they explained it well. I'm not talking about, I know there's people out there who are testing the tips and they're doing all kinds of things. I'm not going to, we only have 10 videos and then the channel's done. I'm not going to continue on and do a lot of things. I'm just going to put a nice little package while I'm learning how to re-hit the ball after coming out of a 8-month injury and really playing good golf, and explaining to you why you're probably playing good golf, but why the wheels feel like it falls apart. So I don't make money. If I ever link to anything on Amazon, it's because I own it, I bought it, I think it's a good deal. I'm not here to monetize this, and I really don't want to get into embattlement for all the haters on the comments who don't like any of the things I do. If you watch the drills and you don't watch the explanations, and then you want to go and say all you want in the comments, or if you're a content creator and you're going to pull part of my video and explain to people why I'm wrong, then you didn't follow the course and you don't understand what I'm trying to do here. And so that's on you, not me. The best I can do for my audience, whoever wants to watch this, is put you on the right track so that you will learn how to go from a practice to a range situation to the course, and understand why it takes so long to get you from one side of, from the range, for example, to the course. It could take 2 to 3 weeks before you actually feel the difference. But when you're on the course, play golf. Don't work on things. If it's slow and you want to throw another mulligan down and hit, play 2-ball, play 3-ball because there's nobody around, that's cool. And it's always better to learn on the course than the range. So I fully understand that. But if you don't have that time to be out there, like it's 100 and some odd degrees out here. I live in Texas. I'm in a spare part of my house that I'm working on just to hit balls in the AC. Later on, you're going to find out I have a hitting bay with full lab, and I can have all the electronics I want, but I'm not going to use them because you might not have them. So my whole thing is we're going to go bare basic and cover some fun things. And if you want to go for the journey and see how I approach getting a good swing grooved in, so I understand when the bad days happen, why they happen, then stick around. But if not, I'm cool with that too. Let's just go play golf. Thanks.